Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this part 5, we will see how we can get the values for active choice parameters using the Groovy script and property file in the Jenkins Parameterized job. So we are going to automate the same scenario as the previous session, that we have two parameters, okay, in the Jenkins, that is automation type and test case. So in that, if I select automation type as sanity, then in the test case parameters drop down, I should get this sanity test cases options. Okay, so user can select any one or more options, okay, at a time. And if I select regression automation type, then I should get these options in the test case drop down. Okay, so values for this test case drop down are going to change dynamically depending upon the values that we select for the automation type. So same scenario we are going to automate, only here difference will be we are going to use the property file this time. So first let's go and see what is the need for property file in the Jenkins configuration. So this is the project that we have created in the previous session. So in this job, what we are doing is, if you click on build with parameters, okay, so this is our Jenkins parameterized job. So if I select automation type as sanity, then in the test case I am getting the sanity options, okay, sanity test cases option to select. And if I select regression, okay, then this option got changed to the regression test cases. Okay, so user can select one at a time or multiple at a time. Okay, so this configuration we have done in the previous session. So for this purpose, what we have done is, in the configuration we have used the active choice parameter. Okay, so we have defined this active choice parameter for the automation type. Okay, so simply we are using the Groovy script and we are returning these values. Okay, so these values are hard coded. So here we are returning only 2 to 3 values. Okay, so that is okay, we can hard code those values. And for the other parameter, that is our active choice reactive parameter, that is our test case. So this test case parameter is completely depend upon the value that we select for this automation type parameter. Okay, so for the test cases, this is the active choice reactive parameter. We have written this simple Groovy script. Okay, so here we are checking the automation type first. If it automation type is sanity, then return these values. Okay, and if it is equal to the regression, then return the regression test cases. Okay, so simple Groovy script. So disadvantage of this approach is, let's say I have multiple jobs for my dev team and my QA team. Okay, so currently we have only one QA jobs. So I am going to give the separate jobs for every developer or every QA in my team. Okay, so that they can run the automation as per their need on their separate automation machines. Okay, so if we have multiple job like this, for example, let me create a copy of this job. Okay, so currently we have two jobs for two QAs. Okay, so let's say I want to change the options for my sanity test cases. Let's say I want to add one more option in this. Okay, let's say sanity test, let's say 3, or you can say 4. So if I want to add one more option in this sanity, then this option I need to add in each and every Jenkins job. Okay, so what I will have to do is, I will have to go to the each QA jobs, go to the configure, and the values where we have hard coded for the parameter values, we need to add that value. So here at the end, I will add that new value in the single quote. Okay, so this is I added for the QA2, QA1. Okay, so that value I added in the QA1. So same, I will have to go to the QA2 again, and I will have to add that value, okay, hard coded value again. Okay, like this. So I am just adding a single value. Okay, so you can imagine that how much time it will consume if I want to add multiple values for my test cases. Okay, so every time if I need to add some few test cases, or I will have to update the test cases name, then every time I will have to go to the each and every Jenkins job for all the QA or all the developers, and I will have to change or add those values manually. Okay, so that process is going to take a lot of our time, right? So instead of that approach, we can use the property file. Okay, so in that approach, we will create a property file, we will add all the test cases in that file, and then we will fetch all the parameter values from that single property file. Okay, so in case if you want to add or update any value, then you just need to update that property file, that's it, and all the Jenkins jobs get updated automatically. So how we can create the property file, how we can add the test cases, and how we can get the values for the parameters from that property file, that I'm going to cover in this session. So in the Jenkins job configuration, you can see we have the same active choice parameter as automation type. Okay, so it is going to return these three values, and for active choice reactive parameter, same test case parameter we have here. Okay, so this is the Groovy script we need to use when we are going to read the values for the parameters from the properties file. Okay, so very easy. Here we have created the properties object. Okay, you can say, then we need to read the file. So this is the properties file object, and inside this bracket we need to provide the location of our properties file. Okay, so I will show you this properties file also, how we have created and what are the values. After that we need to load this property file with the input stream. Okay, so just use property file, okay, the property file object here with input stream, and we need to load that properties file, okay, using this load method. So let me show you this automation test properties file. So you can create this property file using the Visual Studio Code or any other editor. Okay, so you just need to create this file and save that file as a properties file. Okay, I have already shown this in the previous session. So you need to add the key and values in this properties file. So my key is sanity, and for that key we have these test cases. Okay, so as per our scenario, if I select sanity, I should get these options in the test case drop down. Okay, and why I have added this new value colon disable, that I will explain. And for the regression, we have these test cases. Okay, so as per our scenario, we just have added only 3 to 4 test cases for each automation type, right? But in real time, let's say you can have multiple test cases for each automation type. So what you have to do is you just need to add the values separated by the comma. Okay, so at the beginning of the project, okay, it will be only a one time activity where you need to create this properties file, and whatever values, the actual test cases value, you can add separated by the comma like this. But whatever values you do not have, but you need to add it in the future. Okay, so you can add those values like this. Okay, so we know why we use this colon disabled, because user will not be able to select this option. So this is not my actual test case. Why I am adding it? Because I need to add some test cases in the future. Okay, so for future scope, I have added this new value colon disabled, okay, separated by the comma, for each key in my properties file. Okay, so for sanity I have added around 10 values, and for regression also I have added around 10 values. Okay, so as per your project requirement, at the beginning only you can create this properties file and add these values like this. Okay, and just use the colon disabled. Okay, so we have around 10 values for each key. Okay, for sanity we have 10, for regression we have 10 values. So this is our properties file, and this is available in my D drive AJ DevOps Jenkins, and this is the file name. So this location, okay, file location, you need to provide in this file object. Okay, so that file we need to load using this properties.load. Okay, so after loading that file, we need to check the condition first. Okay, so if user select automation types equal to sanity. Okay, so if user select sanity from the automation type drop down, then what I am going to do is, okay, this is the if block. Then you need to get the values for the sanity key from this properties file, and once we get the values, we need to split those values by comma. Okay, so in the properties file we have separated all the values, okay, for the key by the comma, right? So that's why we need to separate each value by comma. So those values we will get in this array, and that we are going to return. Okay, so arrow 0, array 1, 2, 3 up to the last element. Okay, so it will start from the 0, and as we have 10 elements, we have added here 9. Okay, so as per your project requirement, if we have multiple tests, let's say 50, 100, so you need to write this return statement like that. Okay, return each value up to the last index minus 1. Then if we select the regression, then it is going to again read the properties file, read the values for this regression key from that properties file, and it will split all those values by the comma. And again we are going to return the values, okay, from 0 to 9. And if automation type is blank, okay, if it is not sanity, if it is not regression, then it is going to show this error, please select automation type in the drop down. Okay, so you can see for automation type we have selected blank value, okay, as a default value, right? So for this default value, it will show you this error. Okay, so user will come to know that he need to select the automation type first before building the Jenkins job. Okay, so this is the simple Groovy script to get the values from our properties file, okay, for the different keys. Okay, so as per your requirement, you can add one or more keys in this properties file. Okay, so just remember you need to add the this value, new value disabled for the future scope. Okay, depending upon your project requirement, you can add it at the multiple time. Just use the comma and use this colon disabled. Okay, so once we added all these things, okay, this is our test cases parameter that is depend upon the automation type reference parameter. Okay, so it is quite simple. So once we created this, you just need to click on apply and save. So for the first time, okay, when we create this Jenkins job, you need to approve these changes, okay, from the administrator. So for that, you can go to the manage Jenkins, and here you will find in process script approval. So here you will get those approvals. Okay, for each and every Groovy script, you will have to approve that script. Okay, so I have already provided the approval. That's why I'm not getting any approval request here. Okay, so in your case, when we create the Jenkins job like this, okay, configuration like this, it will ask you the approval. Okay, so just approve all the request and refresh your Jenkins job. Okay, and now click on build with parameter. So as you know, for the automation type, our first value is blank. Okay, we are returning the blank value. So we have already added the else condition at the end, right? For these test cases, that if it, so first it will check if automation type is equal to sanity. If it is not, then again it will check if automation type is equal to regression. Okay, it is not, then automation type is blank. So last else block will be executed, and that will show this message, error, please select a automation type first. Okay, so that's why we are getting this error. So our script is working fine. So as soon as I select the sanity from this, I should get the sanity options. Okay, so all these options are coming from the properties file. Okay, so sanity test login, logout, dashboard, sanity 4, and this is the new value. So as you can see, I am not able to select that value. Okay, I can select up to the 4, but I cannot select this new value because we have used the colon disabled here. Okay, and if I select regression, again I will get the regression test cases values. Okay, so it is quite easy if we have multiple Jenkins jobs like this for each QA and each developer, and if I need to add some few sanity and regression test cases, I just need to add those values in the properties file only. Okay, I don't have to change anything in the Jenkins job configuration. For example, let's say I add two test, okay, two sanity test here. So in the new value, I will remove this disabled also, so user should be able to select it now. This is my sanity test 5, and next one is sanity test 6. Okay, save it. And for the regression also, I will add few more test cases. Remove the disabled. This is my 4. Okay, so as per my requirement, I need to add 2 tests in each sanity and regression. So what I have done is I have just added those values in this properties file. Okay, so I added those values. Just save this file and just go to your Jenkins job and refresh the Jenkins job. So select sanity. Okay, so we are getting the updated options for the sanity test cases. Okay, so all these values are getting fetched from the properties file, so you don't require to change anything in the job configuration now. So if we have 10 QA jobs, okay, for each QA, then all these values will be updated in each Jenkins job. Okay, we don't need to change anything in the configuration. So what we have done is we just updated this properties file. Okay, so whatever value I need to add or whatever value I need to update. Okay, if I want to update any sanity test case name, let's say I added sanity test user. Okay, so I changed from logout to user, so that change also reflected in our Jenkins job immediately. Okay, you can see that. If I want to make any option by default selected, okay, as per previous session, we need to use the selected key, right? So user colon selected. Okay, so as soon as save this properties file, just need to refresh the Jenkins job. So you can see this sanity test user test case is selected by default. Okay, so in night automation, if I want some few regression test cases or some module regression test cases has to be run by default. Okay, user don't require to change anything in the night automation. So in the night automation, we can trigger this build, okay, trigger this Jenkins job automatically using the Jenkins schedulers. Okay, by giving 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. this Jenkins job will start automatically. So we can use the selected keyword in that automation. Whatever test case we want, by default should run on the production or any other server, we can use this selected keyword. Okay, so both selected and disabled you can use in the properties file also. So try these things on your own, and let me know if you don't understand anything or if you face any issue in that. So thank you all of you. I will see you in the next video soon.